T-Bird fans, we welcome you to a brand new edition of T-Bird Talk. I'm Cloud County Community College Sports Information Director, Toby Nosker. On this week's edition of T-Bird Talk, we'll have an opportunity to preview the start to the 2026 softball season at Cloud County Community College when we sit down with second-year head coach TJ Segebart. The Cloud County Community College softball team has been projected to finish 7th in the Kansas Jayhawk Community College Conference Division II, according to a preseason poll voted on by the conference's head coaches. The T-Birds are looking for continued improvement under Coach Segebart. Last year, Cloud County finished 9th overall in the KJCCC with a 16-28 overall record and a 7-15 record in conference play. Cloud County had 4 all-conference selections, all honorable mention picks, including returning shortstop Malia Koster and utility player Emily Johnson. The T-Birds graduated 8 sophomores, including 4 that have signed with 4-year colleges. Now, Cloud County opens the 2026 season on Tuesday, February 17th, when they take on Southeast Community College at home. First pitch is scheduled for 1 p.m., and live coverage of the game will be streamed on the T-Bird Sports Network at cloudtbirds.com. Cloud County will open its conference schedule on Thursday, March 26th with a home doubleheader against Coffeyville. The season culminates with the 2026 NJCAA Division II Plains District Softball Tournament, which is scheduled to take place May 6th through the 10th on the campus of Johnson County Community College in Overland Park, Kansas. The winner of the double elimination tournament will earn a bid into the 2026 NJCAA Division II Softball World Series, which will take place May 18th through the 23rd in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Up next, we'll talk to the head softball coach of the T-Birds, Coach TJ Segebart. This is T-Bird Talk.
Are you a Kansas or Nebraska high school senior who's thinking about your next step after high school? If so, you qualify for Cloud County Community College's $500 Early Bird Scholarship. All you have to do is visit campus before December 19th and have a GPA of 3.0 or higher, and you get a $500 scholarship guaranteed. So come visit Cloud and see why our students are Cloud proud. On your visit, you'll see our campus, meet with an academic advisor, and get a chance to have all your questions answered. Set up your campus visit today by giving us a call at 785-243-1435 extension 212 or visiting us online at cloud.edu/admissions.
This week on T-Bird Talk, an opportunity to discuss Cloud County Community College softball, as the T-Bird softball team will open their 2026 season on Tuesday, February 17th, when they take on the Southeast Community College Bobcats at home. Joining us today is the head softball coach at Cloud County, Coach TJ Segebart. And Coach, the 2026 season is finally here. Do you feel like you and the team are ready to go?
I think so. I think we've had a really good off season. Obviously, the weather hasn't been super cooperative the last couple weeks, having some snow, but the field looks good. We've been able to take advantage of some nice days out on our field. The high school here let us get on their turf football field, and then while baseball team was down in Texas doing their thing, Coach Gilly was kind enough to lend us his field for the weekend. So we've had some outside days. Hopefully, we can get a couple more in before Tuesday.
I know we had a chance to visit with you during the fall season, and at that time we recapped a year one for you as head coach of the T-Bird softball team. But if you don't mind, let's kind of just take a look back at that first year overall for you. And as somebody who grew up in the sport of baseball, played it collegiately, had an opportunity to serve as an assistant coach here at Cloud County. You make a move to a different sport in softball, and you take over the reins last year as head coach. How did that transition go for you? And then how did you feel like the team adapted to you, your style? How did you feel like year one went?
It was definitely a learning experience. Just kind of handling different personalities and just kind of how to go about it. I think sometimes I'd come in a little too rah-rah, trying to really hype everyone up, and sometimes they need a hug before a game and kind of more relaxed because they hype themselves up so much. And so, there's a lot of baseball, softball. What did you learn? Learning how to become a head coach. I think that was the biggest learning thing more than anything, of just kind of how to handle business and kind of handle those relationships. As an assistant coach, my job was to be best friends with everybody and hang out in the cafeteria with them and give give them everything I had, outside of practice time, spend my evenings in the indoor with them. And I still try to do that as a coach, being the head coach. But, Coach Mo, my assistant coach, she's kind of taken that role over too. So I would say she's definitely closer with the girls than I am, and, probably knows them on a more personal level. And but that's great. Mo does a great job with the girls. So we've come a long way. I've come a long way, definitely, since whenever I got hired a couple summers ago.
Team went 16-28 a year ago, 7-15 in conference play. Some games that I know that you were competitive in, that you feel like you left out on the field and could have bettered that record overall. But you return a lot of experience back from last year's team. And, I get the sense, and I guess you can correct me if I'm wrong, but, some of these girls came in not necessarily as your recruits, right? But I feel like they're definitely your recruits now. They're your players. You like them as players, and you feel like they provide a lot to this program.
For sure. Jumping in kind of in the time frame that I did, no matter what sport or, whoever it is a little difficult. It's a little awkward. And, I think I did prove last year to those girls that, it wasn't me on the phone trying to convince you to come to Cloud, but I think they saw the work ethic and they saw kind of the vision that we had, and they bought in really well for us last year. And, the returners that we have this year played huge roles for us. It's not like, they were just specifically a pinch runner or a mop-up pitcher or anything. I mean, you're looking at 2 returning all-conference players and Malia and Emily, and then you've got Bella, Haley, and Berkeley that were basically everyday starters for us. And I think we talked about it once, we have a really good freshman class. And so I've been telling everyone, we're young, that's going to hold us back. But actually looking around the league, we're about as old as anyone. So we return a lot of firepower and have high expectations for them returners.
And, they were so adaptable to things, too. And we talked about this a little bit a year ago, but their willingness to even play out of position at times, or to learn a new position, to find any way possible to be valuable to the team, that was critical to the success you did have last year.
Absolutely. I think we have a lot of girls that, number one, they want to play. And if they know that their best chance is at another position, they've been pretty willing to kind of adapt, and obviously me and Coach Mo will do whatever we can to make them feel prepared and feel ready to take that on. I feel bad for Emily Johnson. We did kind of throw her into the fire last year by the switch to first base, but she caught on really early, and we made sure to that we felt that she was ready. We didn't want her to feel like she couldn't handle it. But also, I think it just says a lot that these girls want to win. I think everybody comes in with, they have their desired position. Everybody wants to be the starting shortstop, or everybody wants to be the starting pitcher or center fielder, whatever it may be. But I think whenever, and we talk about it quite a bit, my job is to win, our job is to win. And so I think they recognize that there may be 2 really good shortstops, and the other shortstop may not be a great first baseman. And so I can say, hey, you want to get on the field? You want to help us win? It's not going to be at short. It's going to be at first. And, we haven't had a whole lot of fight on that. It's been a lot of just buying into the team and buying into, a winning culture. And, I can't thank the girls enough for that.
First full recruiting cycle for you, though, with the freshman class that has come in here for the 2026 season. Kind of take me through the recruiting process from your perspective. How did you try to approach it? What kind of things were you looking for? And how do you feel about the class ultimately that you brought in?
Well, I wanted to hit the ground running. I wanted to get out there. I wanted people to see my face. I wanted to communicate and just, get it out there that I'm the new coach. We're going to go about things a little differently. And the goal is to win. The goal is to recruit girls that want to play at the highest level. No longer is Cloud County just a place to go because you want to, have fun for an extra year, or you want to just get your school paid for. I'm here to compete. I'm here to win. And so it kind of starts there of just that's the type of player that I want. But then obviously you look at your roster and say, okay, we're losing Brecken and Page, so we need to get pitching. Hey, we're losing Harley Smith, who was a really good third baseman for us, and Camille, and, the list goes on and on. So you just go about those positions and, you kind of attack your needs. As far as how it turned out, the season hasn't started, so I can't sit here and say for sure, but I really, really like this team. This freshman class has absolutely just bought in from day one, and we just talked about it. I think it helps having really good sophomores and really good sophomore leaders to take these freshmen under the wing. So I'm really excited. I think we have a really good balance of athleticism. We have some girls that have some pop. We have depth on the mound for the first time since I've been here, where we can mix and match some things. And so I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to this upcoming season.
Creating depth, I know, was important for you coming into this year. You only have one player back that has any time in the circle from a year ago, and that being Berkeley Curtis. A limited time that she pitched. Otherwise, you primarily relied on, as you mentioned earlier, two sophomores that graduated, Brecken Whitney and Paige Mahler, and put a lot in them to have to go really the distance every single time that they stepped out there in the circle and had to pitch. So tell me a little bit about creating a little bit more depth and the pitchers that you've added for this year.
My big thing, Paige and Brecken, I will respect them and I will love them and I'll do whatever I can for them for the rest of my life, because they literally gave it all. Even when things got ugly, they knew that we had no one to turn to, and they had to sit there and wear some bad outings for us sometimes. And, to me, that's just not fair. It puts them in a tough spot, but they love the challenge, and, I appreciate the mindset that they had. So going into this year, my big thing was, however many pitchers we have, 4 or 5, I wanted 4 or 5 different looks. It's really important to me to have different pitches, different velocities, whatever it may be. You could have a girl like Maddie that's topped out at 67, 68, which is really impressive at the junior college level. But if you have 4 or 5 of the same pitcher, by the end of a doubleheader, maybe by the start of game 1, as fast as that may seem, batters are going to get used to it. The other team is going to get the timing down. And so I want to be able to go from somebody like Maddie that can, throw the heck out of it, to Ava, who's got one of the best changeups I've ever seen. You got Morgan Williams, who has 4 or 5 really quality pitches that she can throw at any count. And then, like you mentioned, having Berkeley back, and she fought through some injuries last year, or else she would have got more time in the circle. She's got a really good drop ball. So we've got, I would say within those 4 pitchers, we have about 6 really good pitches that all complement each other. So we can really mix and match against teams this year.
You hit the ground running in the fall. We had a chance to visit with you on the podcast in the fall, talk a little bit about how things were going there. You took on several schools and teams throughout that fall, including Barton Community College out of the Kansas Jayhawk Community College Division I. I know had a doubleheader with Hastings College, Bethel College, Heston College. How did the fall go?
Even though there's not, really winners or losers in the fall as far as the scoreboard goes, we keep track. And so we had a successful fall when it comes to wins and losses. We went 14-3, had to cut fall a couple games short. Just, I think the bodies got a little worn out and we had some injuries. So from that standpoint, it was really good. I believe the fall before we were below 500 and we didn't play as many quality teams as we did this fall. So that was good to see. Honestly, I wish we would have lost a little bit more, maybe a couple tighter games. Barton was a really good day for us. Hastings, we had a couple kind of tight innings in there. And then whenever we ended with the last school, can't think of their name off the top of my head.
Is that Central Christian?
Central Christian. They took it to us, and they they got us that day. I wouldn't have minded seeing that happen a couple more times just to see adversity. I can tell you when things are going good, our team's really dangerous, but I haven't seen enough to know what type of team we are in the tight situation, in the one-run games, we're up by one the last inning. I think this team can handle it. I think they've got the toughness to do it, but that's not something we really saw this fall.
From a development standpoint, how do you treat the fall? What is it that you're looking for? Obviously, the wins, losses, you want to win more than you lose, and you want to be competitive. But how were you evaluating things? What was it you were trying to focus on?
My big thing, I teach or I preach here at Cloud, and the girls are sick of me hearing it, and I tell every recruit that comes on campus, attitude and effort, those are the only things that we can control in life and softball, whatever it may be. And so, yes, we keep our stats. I know our girls' batting average. I know how many home runs they hit, and that, of course, plays a factor. But I want to see just how they play the game. If we're up 15 runs against somebody, do we jog a single out, or are we still sprinting? How we handle our ground balls in between innings, regardless of the score. Are we going full speed? Are we getting a little lazy with it? And so, I just look at the way that we play. How hard can we play no matter the situation, no matter the temperature, the weather? And, I just mentioned there wasn't a whole lot of adversity, but I will tip my hat to the girls. There wasn't a whole lot of laziness. There wasn't a whole lot of pushback on the attitude and effort. I think I got on them maybe once or twice the entire fall.
Coming into the 2026 season, the Cloud County Community College softball team has been projected to finish 7th in the Kansas Jayhawk Community College Conference Division II. That, according to the preseason poll voted on by the conference's head coaches. The T-Birds last year finished 9th overall in conference play, so projected to finish 7th. Obviously the conference is pretty top-heavy with some really good teams with the Johnson Counties and the Cali College and Kansas City, Kansas. But I feel like, there's a mix of teams certainly that, you could even better, that projected finish of 7th place. And I even think back to last year and the way things started. You had an 0-7 start to begin the year. It took a while to finally get some things figured out, but you play close to 500 ball the rest of the way. And I think you earned a lot of people's respect because of that. Obviously, if you could get off to a much better start this year, maybe you can even better what that projected finish is.
Yeah, we got to hit the ground running. Like you mentioned, we can't start in a hole like we did last year. The prediction's great, finishing 7th. We haven't done anything to prove that and to earn that, honestly. We missed the playoffs last year, and so 7th, I won't say I'll take it, but, we must be making a little bit of noise for other coaches to respect that. And we haven't even talked about it. I mean, I know a couple girls have seen it and kind of mentioned it, but it's not like we're using that for fuel in the locker room or anything. We're going to go out and just worry about ourselves. And
as you said, you still have to prove it.
Yeah, absolutely. We haven't done anything yet as far as I'm concerned. We haven't made the playoffs. We didn't finish with a winning record. So it's cool, I guess, that they think that we're a playoff caliber team, but we got to go do it. We got to go show people we are.
That sophomore group that we talked about that's returning, that comes back with that experience, have you seen a hunger in their eyes? Have they talked about wanting to be much better this year than where they were year one? And how much have you leaned on them to kind of set the tone and the expectations for everybody else in the program?
Yeah, it's different this year. And I can sit here and try to explain it as much as I want, but unless you were around last year's team and around this year's team, that's really the only way to see it. But it's just, we're different. It's the attitude, the mindset. I think last year, and myself included, being a first-year coach, I'm not trying to, bury anybody. It was just kind of like, let's see what this is all about. Let's figure this out together. Let's go as a team and just compete. Let's do what we can. And, I remember last year after Cali, our last game of the season, and, there's tears being shed and stuff like that. And there was a couple girls that just like, I'm sad it's over, but I'm angry. I'm angry that it's over, and they've came back angry. And, halfway through the fall, a couple sophomores came up and just like, this is different. This is a different team. This is a different vibe. And, and I'm trying to be different too, where it's not just let's get through and, let's figure it out, but let's hold each other accountable. Let's make sure that I'm not letting the stuff slide that I did last year, and let's change. Let's do something different this year.
And learning to win is a process. It takes time. But one of the things that helps is if you can find, girls, players that have a competitive edge and can shake off a bad moment to say, hey, I'm going to go get this final out, or you know what, I'm going to deliver this hit when we need it. And I feel like, just being around some of the athletes that I have that are on your team, I feel like they have that competitive edge.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I'd even go back to last year. I remember talking with the girls. We did have a lot of close games. We had games where even we would come out and throw the first punch, and I felt like we played scared when we had a lead. It wasn't confidence. It wasn't, look at us, we're beating Neosho right now. It was, oh boy, let's not blow this lead. And this year's team just has a different kind of aura about them. And don't get me wrong, the last 3 outs of the game are the hardest to get, and it doesn't matter who we're playing, doesn't matter who's in the circle. It's tough on anybody, and there is a little pressure. But I think this team can handle it, and I think we're going to be better at closing out those closer games this season.
For you, what is it that you like the most about this group right now?
I like that they hold each other accountable, myself included. I believe it was with you or maybe Austin McNorton in the fall, and I was bragging about these girls like, man, after every practice, they're begging for more ground balls. They're begging for more BP or whatever it may be. And, we had, I think, a couple sophomores marched into my office one day and was like, we think we're really good, and what we don't want to happen is to not reach our potential. So let's crank it up a notch. And I said, we can do that, but you understand that means harder practices, longer practices, more grueling. I can find an extra gear, but if I do this, you have to be able to commit to it. And they wanted it, and we did. And, that's when I thought we started playing our best in the fall.
Is there anything about this group that concerns you, or anything that, we talk about, hey, it's all potential at this point, right? It's still unproven out on the field. Is there anything that you're certainly going to be eyeing or focusing on, especially through these first few games and in the non-conference part of your schedule, that you want to see happen or develop within your team?
My biggest thing is, and this is probably any coach, injuries. We do have a couple girls. They're able to compete right now. They're practicing full speed. Hopefully they're spending a lot of time with Steve in the training room, but we've got a hurt back. We've got a couple arms that are kind of iffy, and they're key players. Now, we have depth. If we have to make a move, I am comfortable, with a lot of girls at a lot of positions. But you never want anybody to be hurt. And so that's my big thing, especially as we work through the non-conference schedule, is I want to get through that healthy and hopefully win some games. I want to jump into our conference schedule feeling like we're at our best health-wise, confidence-wise, and the mental side too.
But things happen. We know that when it comes to athletics. And I talked about this last week on the podcast with Coach Eric Gilliland, the head baseball coach at Cloud County, about, some of his returners and guys that, maybe that first month, they didn't touch the field. But all of a sudden, month 2, month 3, and towards the end of the season, they're getting some quality at bats. They're getting some time. So you have depth, which is good. It's hard, though, I'm sure, from a coaching standpoint to try to keep everybody happy. But it's critical and important that these players stay locked in and focused, because their time's going to come at some point. And so the ability to be able to make the most out of that moment whenever it arises is going to be key.
I've told them that all season. Maybe I need to have Coach Gilly come give them the same message. Maybe they'll listen. Yeah, it's different than last year with our depth, and that is a wonderful thing. Last year, we were very, very limited on defensive positioning, on our lineups, on our pitching, and so I've tried to tell them. I know I'm relatively new to the softball world, but I was an assistant baseball coach for 4 years. I've seen it happen. I've seen the big signee come in that you think is going to be the best player in the country, start the season rough, and the walk-on from small town nowhere comes in, steals the spot, and doesn't leave the lineup for the rest of the year. There's injury stories, and so I'm still trying to kind of talk to these girls, this first week or 2, 3 weeks, whatever it may be. You may not be hitting 4-hole for us playing every day, but you have 2 directions you can go. You can go in the dugout and you can pout the whole game, and you can sit there and be mad at me or feel sorry for yourself or whatever it may be, and I promise you that's not going to help anyone. Or you can stay ready, and if you get a start, if you get a pinch hit, if you get a relief inning, make the most of it. Make it hard on me to not be able to play you anymore. And I think it resonates. I think the girls understand it, but it's one thing to say, yep, I'll be ready, versus, sitting in a cold dugout in February for a couple games in a row without getting a chance.
T-Birds will open up their 2026 season at home on Tuesday, February 17th, with a doubleheader against the Bobcats of Southeast Community College. Typically, we don't get this kind of nice of weather, in February. It makes it tough to schedule home games. Usually you got to go on the road. You may be more so than some of your opponents, including a Southeast, will be starting your season a little later. They've already got a few games under their belt. Well, what's kind of your feelings going into the matchup with the Bobcats on Tuesday?
Well, first of all, the scheduling of it, Gary at Southeast, I know him pretty well. I've got to be able to recruit with him, so we have a pretty good relationship, and Beatrice isn't too far of a drive, and we kind of talked just, we've got to find a way to play each other. We're too close. It's a good non-conference matchup. They're a good team. They're well coached, but in their conference play starts way earlier than us. And so he said, really the only way to get on the schedule is in February. And I said, well, good luck scheduling a game either here in Concordia or February or in Beatrice, so we can put it on the schedule, and we'll just have to wait and see. So I'm tickled pink that I think the high is like 71 or 72 for game time. So we're really excited. And, like I said, Southeast is a good team. They're well coached. He does a really good job with them. So it's by no means, just going to be a layover game to try to get a couple wins. We're going to have to fight like heck to go get a couple wins, and they got the best of us last year. They took 4 from us, and so I want a little revenge on them, and I think it'll be a good start to our season.
I asked this question, too, of Coach Gilliland last week on the podcast as we previewed the start of the baseball season. But I'm interested to know from you, especially these first handful of games and in the non-conference schedule, do you foresee yourself playing around with the lineup much, or do you feel like, hey, these are the girls that have earned this opportunity, this is the lineup we're going to go with until, those circumstances we talked about, or maybe something in practice, changes your mind? Do you want to kind of have kind of a set in stone, this is where we're at?
Well, as a fan of the podcast here, I did listen to Coach Gilly's response to this question, and I'm going to steal it a little bit. There are definitely some players that have earned a bigger leash, that have earned, playing time. Malia, she was great at shortstop last year for us. She was great at the plate. She was all conference. She's probably going to get shortstop until she loses it or until, something happens. And, there's a couple players that maybe have a little bigger leash. But there will definitely be some shuffling around at other positions. I want to be able to see everybody in a different environment. We're doing lives, we're inter-squatting a lot. So I have an idea of what we can do versus ourselves, but against a different team, it's a different monster. And so there will be some steady pieces, but I'm also going to work pretty hard to try to get everybody a couple at bats or a couple innings here and there.
Are you excited to see how they perform now that it's real? even the fall is different, right? You don't have the music and as much of a crowd and the atmosphere, and the scoreboard isn't even necessarily turned on, and now you've got the home plate umpire that's calling the balls and strikes, and everything just becomes different. And now there's going to be stories put out, there's going to be records kept, and these games matter. Are you excited to see, now that the quote unquote lights are on, how they perform in these moments?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's, the cool thing about the spring season to me is, we're late to get going. And so we spend so much time in our indoor at the practice field, the fall games that quote unquote don't matter. And so it's nice that we can just get out here and do our thing. Of course, I'm going to be there coaching, but the learning part is over for the season. The strength part is over. It's time for them to go show out, have fun, and play a kid's game with a smile on their face. So really looking forward to it. And I think we have a lot of girls that will rise to the occasion. Last question for you, and obviously W's a given. You want to come out with a win. But besides that fact, first game's out now. Is there anything, again, that you're going to be focusing on? What do you most want to see out of your talent, your players, and when they step on the field for the first time to begin the season? Attitude and effort. Those are the two things. I hope our first game of the season isn't our cleanest. I'm not expecting it to be perfect by any means. The goal is, get better as the season goes on, but I don't want to get out-energied by the other team. I don't want to get out-hustled. I want the girls to be, for lack of better words, partying in the dugout, celebrating each other's success. I just want to have a fun season, and I think when we're all bought in and just having fun and playing hard, the wins and losses kind of take care of themselves. The attitude, as you said, and we talked about this earlier, but keeping a positive mindset. If they get in a pressure-filled situation, are they thinking positively, or are they thinking negatively, and how is that going to affect their performance and the overall team performance? Yeah, we a couple years ago, we had a hitting coach on the baseball team named Eric Dorton, and he brought in a program that baseball still uses. And so we do talk about the mental side of the game. We do things, we prepare for the mental side, and, in practice, I try to put pressure on them. Whether it be a punishment for errors or, losing an inter squad. So we can try to simulate it. We can try to prepare for them. But like you said, when there's people in the crowd and when the scoreboard's on, it is different. So, we'll go out there and we're just going to have fun and play our hearts out, and we'll see what happens. The season arrives this Tuesday as the T-Birds will match up with the Bobcats of Southeast Community College. First pitch of the first game of the doubleheader set for 1 p.m. from the Cloud County Community College softball field. We'll also stream the games live at cloudtbirds.com on our T-Bird Sports Network. Coach, I've been looking forward to this for a while. I'm excited for the season to start. Best of luck Tuesday. We appreciate your time. Thank you, Toby.
Are you a Kansas or Nebraska high school senior who's thinking about your next step after high school? If so, you qualify for Cloud County Community College's $500 early bird scholarship. All you have to do is visit campus before December 19th and have a GPA of 3.0 or higher, and you get a $500 scholarship guaranteed. So come visit Cloud and see why our students are Cloud proud. On your visit, you'll see our campus, meet with an academic advisor, and get a chance to have all your questions answered. Set up your campus visit today by giving us a call at 785-243-1435 extension 212 or visiting us online at cloud.edu/admissions.
My thanks to Cloud County Community College head softball coach TJ Segebart for joining us this week on T-Bird Talk. And want to wish the best to the Cloud County Community College softball team as they will open their 2026 season at home this coming Tuesday at 1 p.m. against the Bobcats of Southeast Community College. The doubleheader will be streamed live on the T-Bird Sports Network at cloudtbirds.com. You also want to visit cloudtbirds.com to stay up to date on any schedule changes. There has been some shifting in the schedule for the Cloud County Community College softball team and their opening week. So to stay up to date, make sure you're following the Cloud County Athletic website. Again, it's cloudtbirds.com. Today is the home opener for the Cloud County Community College baseball team as the T-Birds, 4-0 on the season, will be matching up with Kansas Wesleyan University JV. First pitch of the first game of the doubleheader is set for 1 p.m. And again, the doubleheader will be streamed live on the T-Birds Sports Network at cloudtbirds.com. The Cloud County Community College baseball team opened its 2026 season last week, sweeping all 4 games played. 2 games against Arkansas State University Mountain Home and a pair of games against Tyler Junior College. It all began on Friday, February 6th, with the T-Birds picking up a 9-5 win in 7 innings over the Trailblazers of Arkansas State University. Cloud County strung together 11 hits, including 5 extra base hits in the win. Freshman catcher Kellen Burke led the way at the plate with 3 hits, including a double. Sophomore third baseman Caden Budke had a pair of doubles with 2 RBIs and 1 run scored. Budke scored on a defensive error in the first inning, recorded a ground rule double to left field in the second, and added a double to left field in the third, driving in 2 runs during a 4-run inning for the T-Birds. Sophomore shortstop Lucas Laukinen clubbed the first home run of the season for Cloud County with a 2-run blast to left field in the top of the second inning. Sophomore second baseman Joey Marino led off the 4th inning with a solo shot to left. Sophomore first baseman Luke Clayton finished with 2 hits, 1 run scored, and 1 RBI, while freshman outfielder Broxton Barrientos added an RBI single and scored a run. Sophomore pitcher Cole Linton earned the win in that first game. The right-hander limited the Trailblazers to 2 runs, 1 earned on 3 hits, while striking out 2 through the first 4 innings. Redshirt freshman Cooper Tannehill struck out 2 and walked 1, while permitting 3 runs, 0 earned on 3 hits over 2 1/3 innings of work. Freshman Nolan Green secured his first career save with a strikeout in the 7th. Sophomore Evan Bogart garnered the win in Game 2 as the T-Birds picked up a 4-2 victory over Tyler Junior College. Bogart threw 3 2/3 innings where he allowed 1 run on 1 hit while striking out 3. Sophomore Sam Brumman claimed his first save of the season and 5th of his career, recording the final out. Sophomore Stockton Timbrook earned a no decision after throwing 3 innings, finishing with 3 strikeouts and 4 walks, including walking in a run in the first. Sophomore outfielder Carter Cathers collected the team's 3rd home run of the day with a go-ahead 3-run blast to left field in the top of the 4th inning. Cathers added a double in the 6th and later scored his 2nd run of the game on an RBI double by Barrientos. Budke, Burke, Clayton, and Marino each contributed hits in the win. Cloud County then met up with the same 2 teams the following day to close out a round robin in Tyler. The T-Birds defeated Tyler Junior College 6-2 before grabbing a 4-2 come-from-behind victory against Arkansas State University Mountain Home. Against Tyler, Cloud County posted 8 hits in the game, breaking a scoreless tie with 2 runs in the 5th, 1 run in the 6th, and 3 more runs in the 7th. Burke went 2 for 2 at the plate with a pair of doubles and 1 run scored. Laukinen also finished with 2 hits and 1 run scored, crossing home plate in the 5th on a defensive throwing error by Tyler. Budke, Marino, and Barrientos each registered RBIs. Budke and Barrientos both contributed a run scored, as did Cathers and redshirt freshman Tanner Jacobson. Sophomore Cohen Nelson went 2 1/3 innings on the mound, striking out 3 and walking 3. Sophomore Kai Rimple earned the win by sitting down 4 in 2 2/3 innings. Sophomore Hayden Malays added a strikeout, while freshman Ian Razak recorded his first save of the season, facing 8 batters in 1 2/3 innings of work. Cloud County's 2nd game against Arkansas State University Mountain Home was tied at 2-2 entering the bottom of the 5th before sophomore catcher Vassia Seymour hit a go-ahead 2-run double to left field to give the T-Birds the lead. After permitting 2 runs in the top of the 1st inning, Cloud County held Arkansas State University Mountain Home off the scoreboard in the final 6 frames. Seymour had 1 of 4 doubles for the T-Birds in the win. Budke, Burke, and Marino also tallied doubles, with Burke and Marino finishing the contest with 2 hits each. Freshman Jackson Fox registered a no decision in his first start of the season, allowing 2 earned runs on 3 hits while walking 1 and striking out 4 in 4 innings on the mound. Freshman Jacob McAdams earned the win, striking out 2 in 1 inning of work. Freshman Gage Gannon collected the save with a 2-inning cameo, retiring 6 straight batters while giving up no hits and no walks. The T-Birds are now 4-0 to start the season, matching their similar 4-0 starts in 2025. Cloud County hosts its home opener today against Kansas Wesleyan University JV. First pitch of the first game of the doubleheader is set for 1 p.m. at Lee Doyen Field in the Concordia Sports Complex. And again, the contest will be streamed live on the T-Bird Sports Network at cloudtbirds.com. Last night, the Cloud County Community College women's basketball team fell behind by double digits less than 4 minutes into the contest and never recovered in a 76-56 road loss at Coffeyville Community College in Kansas Jayhawk Community College conference play. The T-Birds, now 10-13 overall and 6-12 in conference play, trailed by as many as 24 points in both halves and were out-rebounded on the night by a 51-28 margin, including 24-5 on the offensive glass. The Red Ravens outscored Cloud County 17-4 in second chance points and held a 42-18 advantage in points in the paint. Freshman guard Amanda McAlub scored 16 points on 6 of 8 shooting from the field with 4 made three-pointers. Sophomore forward Shea Wirtz collected her 6th double-double of the season with 12 points and a team-high 11 rebounds. The T-Birds shot 17 of 46 from the field and 6 of 20 from behind the arc. Coffeyville shot 28 of 73 from the floor and 6 of 30 from three-point range. Cloud County will next play Hutchinson Community College in Kansas Jayhawk Community College Conference action on Saturday. The Blue Dragons have won 5 in a row following their 60-51 home win over number 6 at Dodge City Community College on February 11th. Tip-off to that game is scheduled for 2 p.m. The Cloud County Community College men's basketball team suffered a 79-68 road loss to Coffeyville Community College in Kansas Jayhawk Community College conference play Wednesday. The first half featured 10 lead changes and 7 ties, with Coffeyville grabbing a 33-30 advantage at the break. The second half featured 4 more ties through the first 7 minutes of play before Cloud County went on a 7-0 run to lead 51-44 with 11:21 remaining. The Red Ravens answered with a 12-0 run, highlighted by a pair of three-pointers from freshman guard Konstantin Popovich to go up 56-51 with 8:24 to play. The T-Birds tied the game at 56 following 5 straight points from redshirt freshman forward MJ Stackhouse, but a quick 10-0 spurt gave Coffeyville a double-digit lead at 66-56 with 4:39 to go. The deficit proved too much for Cloud County to overcome. Freshman forward Deontez Walker and freshman guard Cam Williams led Cloud County with 13 points apiece. Walker added 6 rebounds. Stackhouse finished with 11 points and 6 rebounds. Freshman guard Caden Chatham posted 10 points and 6 rebounds. Sophomore guard Sincere Burnett added 10 points and 4 assists, while sophomore forward Elijah Savant provided a spark off the bench with 7 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals. As a team, the T-Birds shot 27 of 67 from the floor and matched a season-low 2 of 17 performance from behind the arc. Cloud County outscored Coffeyville 46-30 in points in the paint and 20-12 in bench points. However, the Red Ravens finished with 11 made three-pointers and shot 43.3% from the field. The T-Bird men are now 13-11 overall and 8-10 in conference play. They too return to action Saturday as they host Hutchinson Community College starting at 4 p.m. The Blue Dragons snapped an 8-game losing streak with a 67-61 home win over number 24 Dodge City Community College Wednesday night, improving their overall record to 11-14 and 6-13 in Kansas Jayhawk Community College conference action. The Cloud County Community College women's track and field team is ranked in the top 10 nationally for the second straight week. The T-Birds are ranked number 5 and now come in at number 1 in the Central region. The Cloud County women's indoor track and field team closed out a split weekend of competition with 2 event wins and 9 top 10 finishes at the Frank Savine Husker Invitational in Lincoln, Nebraska, and the Fred Beal Track and Field Classic in Crete, Nebraska last weekend. Sophomore sprinter Mamuna Jallo has received NJCAA Women's National Athlete of the Week honors for the second time this season after she was named the most valuable female performer at the University of Nebraska's Frank Savine Husker Invitational. Jallo won the 60-meter dash in a national qualifying time of 7.29. The following day, she claimed another win, taking the 200-meter dash in a national qualifying time of 23.29. Less than 3 hours later, Jallo joined sophomore Talia Lehnert and freshman Micaiah Hitchman and Alexis Smith on the 4x400-meter relay team that finished second overall in a time of 3:52.80. Jallo ran a 54.91-second split on the second leg of the relay, which was her first 400 meters of any kind this year. A second 4x400 meter relay team of freshmen Scholastica Herman, Addie Geckel, Ariana Cohn, and Mackenzie Baker placed 8th in a time of 4:08.59. Herman recorded 2 national qualifying performances in the 600 meters and the 800 meters. Herman secured an 8th place finish in the 600 meters and a national qualifying time of 1:35.08 and added a national qualifying time of 2:19.73 in the 800 meters. Freshman Natasha Burrell recorded a pair of strong performances, capturing a 6th place finish in the shot put with a national qualifying throw of 47 feet, 8.5 inches, and a 10th place finish in the weight throw with a throw of 58 feet, 1.25 inches. In Crete, Nebraska, freshman Zoe Sudbeck notched a 5th place finish in the shot put with a throw of 40 feet, 8.75 inches. Freshman Whitney Scott recorded a 6th place finish in the pole vault with a vault of 10 feet, 2 inches. The Cloud County Community College men's indoor track and field team has secured the number 17 spot in the latest track and field rating index. Despite dropping 3 spots from their previous ranking, the team is ranked number 4 in the Central region. The T-Bird men's track and field team secured 14 top 10 finishes, including 2 event wins during their split meet weekend last weekend in Lincoln and Crete. Sophomore Alpha Mpufu, last week's NJCAA Men's Indoor Athlete of the Week, claimed the 200 meters and the 400 meter titles in Lincoln. Mpufu won the 200 meter dash and a national qualifying time of 21:30. He then claimed the 400 meter dash title and a national qualifying time of 47.01. Sophomore Barafa Abdulisis placed 2nd in the 400 meter dash in a time of 48:44. While freshman Keon Williams placed 9th overall, crossing the finish line in 49.01. Mpufu, Abdulaziz, and Williams joined together with freshman Nico Eilert on the 4x400 meter relay team, finishing 3rd in a time of 3:12.45. A second T-Birds 4x400 meter relay team of Zeb Schultz, Nicholas Johnson, Timmy Oladameji, and Jabari Branch placed 8th in a time of 3:23.72. Sophomore Aziz Ben Brahim recorded a national qualifying time in the 600 meters with a time of 1:20.43. Freshman Davis Miltner led 3 T-Bird top 10 runners in the 5,000 meters. Miltner clocked a time of 15:57.67 to place 6th. Sophomore Galasa Abdisa followed in 8th place in a time of 16:25.62, while freshman Jesus Baltazar ended up in 10th place in a time of 16:49.09. In the men's high jump, sophomore Maury Jope jumped a national qualifying height of 6 feet 9 inches to capture a 3rd place finish. Freshman Daquan Monteith secured a 9th place finish in the long jump with a leap of 21 feet 11.5 inches. In Crete, Nebraska, sophomore Braylon Biddle picked up a 4th place finish in the shot put with a toss of 46 feet 1.25 inches. Sophomore Asa Berry added a 9th place finish in the weight throw with a throw of 50 feet 3.5 inches. Now this weekend, both Cloud County Community College indoor track and field teams will travel to Topeka, Kansas for the Washburn University Ichabod Invitational at the Snead Indoor Athletic Facility. Events begin on Friday and continue through Saturday. And this weekend, the Cloud County Community College wrestling team sets their sights on the postseason, which begins with the NJCAA South Central District Wrestling Championships, hosted by Pratt Community College. All 8 Kansas Jayhawk Community College Conference schools, plus neighboring schools from NJCAA Region 2, will be competing in the championships. Also present will be Carl Albert State College, Murray State College, Northeast Oklahoma A&M, and Northern Oklahoma College, Tonkawa. Action will get underway from the Dennis Lesh Sports Arena at 9 a.m. Saturday. Of course, you can keep on top of everything that's happening in T-Bird athletics by checking out the Cloud County Community College athletic website at cloudtbirds.com. You can also follow us on our social media channels. Make sure to like and follow Cloud County Athletics on Facebook and Instagram, and CC Sports on X. New episodes of T-Bird Talk drop each Thursday, so make sure you're subscribed on your favorite podcast platform. T-Bird Talk is a production of the Cloud County Community College Athletic Department.